What is going on, people? Man, this is going to be quite the funny show. That's why I start off laughing. And I'm going to tell you guys what I'm laughing at as the show goes on. But welcome, folks. Give me 2 seconds, man. Let me grab the link to the show here so I can share it out. I know I should have done that beforehand. But welcome, everyone, man, to the latest episode of the Sim Standard Podcast with myself and Smitty, AzureEffect, of course, here in spirit. Give me a second, guys. Y'all seeing me act this thing out here in real time. Let me put a tweet out. How's everybody doing, man? For you guys who are here so far, I'm right here. You already know what we talking about. Come through. All right, guys. So what we plan to get into tonight? Exactly what I have there in the title. I said, what is really going on with Madden 22 franchise mode and its updates? We're going to talk about that. We have a special guest that's coming on tonight. My good buddy Brett Lee asked early on tonight if he could come on. I said, sure. We'll bring him on. And, you know, the value that he brings to you guys is he is a former developer at EA. So, you know, he kind of knows how these things work. And he's been wanting to come on for a while now. So I'll be curious to see what other type of stuff, man, he wants to get into. What's up to my good brother, Wyatt Diggy, my fellow Steeler, as well as he's a gamer as well, man. Cut boy, I see you up in here. What's going on, Luke, Sweet Jones? But y'all know what we do first. Before we do that, we're going to just, you know, do our normal introductions, say how our week was and whatever else we want to talk about outside of the topic. Then me and Smitty will take a quick stab at the topic, and then we'll bring Brett on. All right? Because there's something in particular I want to address that I'm coming across here on Twitter. It's hilarious. But Smitty, what's going on, man? How was your week? Anything you want to dive into before we get into the meat and potatoes?
Nothing really. You know, week was cool. Nothing really to dive into. I mean, you know, Lions were the Lions. You know what I'm saying? Lost another game yet by a field goal. You know, because we weren't here for Thanksgiving, so you know we were off that week. Pistons still not able to hit shots, you know, that well. And I mean that we're learning it's not necessarily what we were hoping for, especially considering how things went last season, that they would be able to this year ball. No, I wouldn't say ball out, but the rate the team was playing, I was hoping that maybe they might be play in tournament worthy this season. But yeah, the way it's going, yeah, that ain't happening. And it's going to be more of a youth movement development kind of season the way it's going here. So that's kind of what we're looking at. Progressively, Cade's coming along. You know, Hayes is being looked at. He's catching the most scrutiny, which is pretty crazy to me. But you know, I've already talked about that before. Shoot. And other than that though, I mean, there ain't really much else, you know, going on other than hearing this. And when we talk about Madden, you know how we do, we get into Madden, it's gonna broaden the horizon, is gonna broaden and all kind of stuff. So that's why there's some stuff I want to touch in, because I did dabble in Madden a little bit over the holiday. Not too much, but I've dabbled in it a little bit. You know what I'm saying? I haven't touched the game in a while. So I messed with it a little. And yeah, it's like those thoughts run rampant. And then all this news with the franchise stuff. So it's like, oh boy. So yeah. So I'm ready to get into it.
I'm ready to get into it too, man. And there's someone that I'm having a discussion with on Twitter that I'm going to address here live on air. It's let me say this before we get into the topic, so y'all know where some of my response is going to come from, some of the stuff that y'all might be wondering, like, what's Sim talking about? There's some people that seem to come out the woodwork when it's convenient, right? They come out, they poke their head out. This very individual, I've actually reached out to him since the cycle, commenting on some things, reached out to him privately, ain't heard nothing. All of a sudden now, to add some context, let me wait. I'll get to it. Let me just say how my week was and all that, and then I'm going to dive right into that because I want this to be early because, people don't watch the whole show. I want to say what I'm about to say about this person early. So it gets back to them. Maybe they're watching. But anyway, my week was great. Holiday was great. Enjoyed family, man. Had a good time, man. Really did have a good time. I mean, Thanksgiving. That Saturday. My brother-in-law, my wife's brother, we did a surprise birthday for him. It was great. It was family that came he hadn't seen in a long time. It was great. Had a great time. Yesterday was my mother-in-law's birthday. So took off yesterday. Nice. My wife and I, took her out shopping, hung out with her all day. And my brother-in-law went and her husband. It ended up being 5 of us hanging out all day. Good time. And then we had a little small something at her house, which is right here in my neighborhood. Great time, right? And other than that, the Steelers, have mercy. Have mercy for Percy. Listen, guys, I see my man Y Diggy's up in here. I see my brother Cut Boy is in here. Listen, man, they already know. We done talked about the Steelers. I told y'all, man, it's just one of them years. The Steelers, for those who don't know, who haven't watched us, if you're not a real fan, as far as, and when I say real fan, I'm talking about if you don't follow the Steelers, you might not watch their games like I do. The Steelers' time has come and gone. They are right now, definitely to me, as far as trajectory, they're at the bottom of the division. Some would say, well, the Browns are technically at the bottom, but no. Trajectory-wise, if you're being honest, the Steelers have been trending down. These other teams in the division have trended up. Their new eras have started. Lamar Jackson clearly is the franchise quarterback for the Ravens, and they build everything around him. Joe Burrow is looking like he's going to be that. And the Bengals have gotten better on defense, on offense. Yeah, I mean, they look like a real team. Remember I told y'all this early in the season when people were saying, oh, you're giving them too much credit. I was like, nah. The Bengals looking like they trending up. They are. They sweep the Steelers. When is the last time that's happened? Cleveland, to me, I don't know what their problem is. I don't know if it's Baker. Maybe. But for whatever reason, they can't seem to get over that hump. But they got talent. But again, if you're being honest about the division, the Steelers are the team that's still like clinging on to a little bit of life that they have with the old era, meaning Ben Roethlisberger. This ain't a disrespect to Ben, but come on, guys, it's time. It's time for Ben to probably go ahead and retire. He's definitely not what he once was. It's all due respect. He's older. This happens to everybody. And the Steelers is that team that's going to have to go find a franchise quarterback, rebuild some of their defensive pieces. They already tried to rebuild the O-line, which is going to be a few-year process. So that just is what it is. Are they going to compete? Sure. It didn't look like it last week. But of course they're going to compete. They have the culture there, and I would say they have the coach there that's going to keep them scrapping. But this is just not the team. So I'm embracing the rebuild. So like I tell my Steelers family, man, whatever happens from this point on, I would be excited to watch it, whether it's good or bad, because I have accepted that we are in that rebuild state. So that's it. That's all I got to say. The Bengals kicked their behind. Plain and simple. Line of scrimmage. The trenches. Isn't that funny? Ain't that something that we talk about Madden all the time? Is game starts and ends in the trenches? Yeah. That's where football is won and lost. In those trenches. Trenches helps everything. Trenches helps the run game. Trenches helps passing. And then on the opposite side, if you're dominating the trenches, you're able to get pass rush, which helps coverage. Rush and coverage goes together. All of these things, man, football starts and ends in those trenches. But let's get into let's get into some other news, shall we? I rarely do this because usually I don't give people the light of day. But let me do this, man, because like I said, this cat seems to speak when he wants to speak. Like I said, I've reached out to him on some humble stuff, and he didn't reply. Smitty and I have had debates with him before in private discords and all of that. And it's always, let me just say this. And if it gets to him, because I'm going to say who I'm talking about. However he interprets what I'm about to say, I really don't care. Because at one time, I thought this guy was cool. He might still be cool. I don't know you personally. I don't know who you are. I just know the person you appear to be when it comes to Madden and stuff like that. Because also, if I remember correctly, I'm going to go way back, Smitty. I could be wrong here, but I swear that he was the one that I used to beef with on OS. I swear. He was the one that tried to get me banned. I swear it was him.
Really?
I swear. I think so. I think it was him. And then all of us, because I think I recall when we finally met, I started saying to myself, it's funny now how we're kind of cool when I remember how he used to. I think it's the same guy. It might have been another person. I know who it wasn't. It wasn't Steve Noah. Me and Steve Noah was really cool.
Right.
Especially after I met him.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I could be wrong. But let me just address this scenario. So y'all know the whole situation about Madden. Let me just put it in a nutshell, because this is what we're going to talk about tonight. Like I said, we're going to bring Brett on. We'll be listening and watching you guys' comments. Here's the conversation. Sports Gamers Online put out a report. Mike Straw. I don't know Mike. I know Kurt. I know the natural, as you guys would know him. He said that there was, from a source, that EA was going to forego and cancel the updates that were planned for franchise mode. Okay? This is what he reported. He said, now EA didn't say this. I'm just reporting this. So right then, y'all know what happened. All of us in the community reacted to it, right? But most sensible people know that, hey, well, let's see. Nobody has confirmed it. It's just a report, right? At least that's how I took it. Yeah, I said my stuff online too. As far as Twitter, I was like, man, this is messed up. If this new, yeah, I was speaking as if the reports were real. But do you know what people do when you find out the report ain't the report? We all usually come back and be like, well, man, I'm glad to hear that. Or, oh man, well, they put out the wrong news. Da 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 da. Right? So fast forward to now. Apparently, EA talks to IGN. It's on IGN right now. I'll find the article for you guys. But per IGN, Grady, I believe, Sean Grady, or somebody at EA said that, in fact, that no, this isn't true. That they're continuing. I'm gonna find the article right now, and I'm gonna put it in the link. Put it in the link. I'm gonna put a link in the description. All right, and you guys can read this at your leisure. There it is, right there. Okay. So apparently EA is saying that that's not the case. It was a rumor and hasn't been canceled. And yada, yada, yada. And they still plan to do the 2 updates that they had planned. I'll actually give you some excerpts from it right now. Let me find it. Sean Grady says, and it's quoted here by IGN, I would say the roadmap is probably slightly less ambitious than years past because we are really focused on a few more areas of Madden 22 and also getting started up on Madden 23 in a big way. He says, so I will still stand by what we've always said the last couple of years. We're a live service and we'll continue to update the game, but we're definitely not going to be talking about a brand new mode. But hold on. I think that's just talking about regular stuff. Where's the franchise stuff? Here we go. He says, we do not like to comment on rumors or speculation. However, we are committed to continuing to improve franchise as a part of our ongoing Madden 22 live service and beyond. This includes 2 upcoming franchise updates that will deliver in Madden 22. And he says we have more details on the updates in the new year. Okay. That news comes out. So me, just being a general person, you know what I put on Twitter? I'm going to tell you guys what I put on Twitter. And I want you guys to understand that this is just my opinion. My first tweet was, whoa, plot thickens. I said, well, plot thickens, right? And then I came back and said, well, you know what? Here's what I wrote. I said, by the way, this should not reflect badly on sports gamers online. Sources are exactly that. Just a source. You can only report what they tell you. As long as I have known them, I can say SGO doesn't do janky work. This is what I believe. Again, this is my opinion. And I wrote again, I said, like I said, is this EA trying to save face? That's the real question. It is a question. Nobody should take that personal, right? It's a valid question because we all have been victims of EA kind of not doing what they said they was going to do. That's the reputation that they've built. Matter of fact, this very person that I'm about to talk about went off the deep end, like flew off the handle with the fixed Madden franchise stuff. He lost his mind and then retracted. You know why? Because he wants to save that relationship. That's what he wanted to do. He act like people don't remember this. You went crazy and then you apologized. All right. So let me keep going. This is where I'm going with it. The tweet that I got, let me show y'all. I'm gonna read it. This person tells me, okay, so y'all remember what I said about the janky work? It shouldn't reflect on them, blah, 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 blah. Now, if you feel like it, because shout outs to my buddy, Charter 04. That's my guy. Shout outs to Charter. Because Charter actually replied to that and Dwell, and he said, hold on, where is it? Let me see if I can find it. Charter said, hold on. I'll find it. Charter said, unless more info comes out, it does hurt SGO's credibility big time for me. That's perfect. But because you know what Charter just did? Charter gave his opinion on how he feels about SGO if this story isn't true. That is fine, right? He didn't say anything crazy to me, did he? No. But let me tell you what Homeboy said. He says, you absolutely don't report on, in quotes, what they tell you. You confirm reports. Mike stated EA didn't respond to him. EA commenting via IGN is an insanely huge thing. They never do that. Telling people it's okay to run with this is incredibly irresponsible, Sim. When did I tell people to run with it? Does anything that I read to you all suggest that I said run with this narrative? It does not. To me, now I want y'all to tell me. I don't want to be the one just believing my own thoughts. But from what I'm seeing here that I wrote, I never said y'all should run with this narrative. I said that is the real question coming from me. Same like my boy Charter was like, no, I don't know, man. If that is false, then that hurts the credibility. I have nothing to say to Charter because he's saying how he would feel.
Right.
But here's Homeboy coming at me. So then I write back to him. I said, okay, so when did I tell people to run with it? Here's what he writes. You can only report what they tell you. Quotes, right? No, you verify sources. That's running with it.
Oh.
This person I'm talking about is Mills TV, Mills Twitch, whatever. Mills from Operation Sports.
Oh, Mills?
Mills.
Okay.
I have no problem. Listen, let me say this loud and clear because I hope he's listening. And I hope somebody brings this to his attention. I ain't got no issue with you. But you know what's funny? It seemed like for some reason we stopped talking, right? Like I said, I've hit you up during this cycle on some positive stuff to just join into a conversation. No reply. I started noticing, oh, okay, I guess he don't really talk to me that much no more. I'll send him messages in this private Discord that he's a part of, right? Everyone else has a conversation. I say something, no reply. I said, oh, okay, that's what we're doing? Cool. But I find it funny that as soon as I say something that's a different narrative, here you come flying in and attacking me. Here you come rescuing. Now you want to talk to me? Fam, go somewhere with that. And like I said, I don't have no issue with you, but I'm a real dude. So when there's something I need to say to somebody, I'm going to say who you are. Y'all know when I say I don't talk about people's names because this is when they don't matter. You know, I'm talking about those other folks who just shoot darts at us. But in this situation, this is weird to me. Why you replying? And again, not saying you can't, but I could show it where I've sent messages when we were all in a Discord and all of that, and I don't hear nothing. And like I said, you the same one that went crazy on Madden with fixed Madden franchise, as you should have, and then you walked it back. Apologize for what? Why did you do that? That's all I'm saying. I never had nothing to say about that until now, but I'm gonna say that now. Go somewhere with that nonsense, bro. Because I don't like you trying to twist my words here. And then you're gonna say something like, telling people they can only report what they tell you. No, you verify sources. I ain't gotta verify nothing. It ain't my source. And I respect Mike Straw from coming out and saying, hey, by the way, EA didn't say this. This is just a source. It'd be different.
Sources in the article.
Like, it says sources, bro.
It said sources. He didn't say I spoke to Connor Dugan. I spoke to Clint Oldenburg. I spoke to Sean Grady, and he can confirm, or Mole or this person or whatever, and they can confirm this is a tweet. This is a tweet, and this is a. None of that was said. It just said a source within the studio was saying employees that are currently working there are disgruntled. Employees or this was. Let me tell y'all something. If this was not something, EA wouldn't have went to IGN. Think about that for a moment.
Thank you.
Why would they go to IGN with something like SG? Think about. Let's keep it. Hold on. Matter of fact, just let me pull this up here real quick. Hold on. I just gotta go. Let me see. Sports.
Why are you doing that? I'm gonna say this. Why are you doing that?
All right.
Again, I don't have no personal beef with nobody. But y'all don't know the type of disagreements we have had with Mills over where we think Madden should be in terms of old features and all. This was all private stuff, right? I never said any of that because y'all know how I am. I don't rock like that. But when you coming out here and doing this, I'm gonna put some of that on the table. Like, they oppose so much stuff that Smitty. Especially Smitty. It was a million times when I look in there and see they going after Smitty. I'm like, there they go again. People, not necessarily this guy, but other people in there telling Smitty, man, sometimes you might be too attached to the game. Like, come on, man. And you know what's funny, Smitty? The people who opposed us used to tell us that we were sucking up to eat.
Yeah, I know. That's the irony, right? You know,
like, dog.
No,
come on, Mills. You gotta chill with that, bro.
No, you're right, though. You're right, Sim, because this is what I would be told. I'm too close to the game. Mills will come piggybacking off of it and saying, oh, yes, Smitty, yeah, you know what I mean? Or me and Mills will get into it because I actually am comparing Madden. Dang, I don't have the game copies right near me, but I would show y'all Madden 07 or something like that. I'm like, I could be making points from Madden 07 on PS2 about franchise mode or gameplay elements that were loved that are better than what we have, sadly, at that point then, but even to this day. And I made those points, and it's like Mills would be fighting against it. man, it's a different day, it's a different Madden, and all the way the game is. It's like as soon as Kralo said something, because he's community manager, he sucks up. And he's like, yes, Smitty, that's just the way things are. Like, same cat that when he went on his Twitch stream back then, ranting it at Madden because of the development track of the game, bringing up NFL 2K5 and everything. Oh, man, are you kidding me? Dude was in the Discord. Oh, I apologize to the devs and all that because I know they're offended and everything, but I just felt certain. It's like the way Mills composed himself in that group is different. And he'll act like he's all about the cause to you guys, basically, to the public. But when we were in that Discord, completely different. Completely different. It's like it's a facade publicly, but then in that group, it was a whole different ball game. He part of that he's part of the go along, get along game, basically. And it's like, listen, it wouldn't surprise me if he's a part of that creators council. It wouldn't surprise me, because there's ways to go about doing it. The way me, Sim, and Azura, we didn't put on a character for EA to be like, hey guys, what you think about it? Like, no, we came. This was our approach. We felt the way we felt with Madden. We genuinely created and grew rapport with people in the studio. They liked us. They saw how we were with giving feedback and everything. They invited us in. The way we talking to y'all here is the same way we talk when we in that building. It ain't no different. The same way we give the feedback points is the way. Now, of course, we're not ranting and all that, but at the same time, we are going to make those pain points in the building. We're not just going to sit back, well, just going to be nice now because we're in the building. Like, no, it's like we're in the building. We got to let them know. We really got to let them know. You know what I mean? Like, this is the chance when I'm standing right there to be like, hey, yo, I'm gonna go in on you for this if this is still there. Like, I'm just gonna keep it a stack. Folk gonna go in on you for this. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, this is the kind of stuff that you can't have going on in your game and think it's gonna be okay. But see, the difference is that guys like a Mills will just play the game for what it is. He'll do the pseudo ranting like he really is mad, but he isn't mad at all. And that's why to see him go at Sim like that, see, that's that caping stuff. You know
that's
what I'm saying?
Hilarious to me.
He's throwing the warm blanket over EA and saying, you want some warm milk and cookies. You know what I mean? Like, that's what he's doing when it comes to this kind of stuff. And he's like, oh yeah, Sim, it's like he wants to go at somebody that has a reputation. Sim has a reputation, right? So go at him. You know what I'm saying? Or he would do the same thing with me if it came down to it as well. You know what I mean? And do the same corny kind of stuff. And he did it with me. That's why I muted him, because he did that stuff. And I was like, you know what? I've had enough. You know what I'm saying? Because it's like he does way too much. He does too much kissing up. Man, it's like way too much kissing up.
The proof, Smitty, is in his own tweets. That was funny when Smitty said the warm blanket too. Yeah, Dr. Funk. Let me read y'all something real quick. See, this is like Smitty said, and like some of you guys said in the chat. We remember that rant you went on for Fix Madden franchise. But check this out. He says this was November 30th. And y'all gonna make me curse here on the show, right? And this ain't a curse because this word was used in the Bible. But I gotta read it here. He says, why does NBA 2K keep kicking our ass from pillar to post? Questions. Full franchise mode, full superstar mode, individual team play, growing card collecting mode, and consistently updating them all. That's why. Stop asking for feedback you don't want to hear. Who's he talking to? Let's keep moving. He also says here on November 30th, how long until we get a video from Sean Grady explaining why we won't be getting any more franchise updates for 22. I said it when he put out the Fix Madden franchise video. You live by your words. It was his words that franchise was a priority. I like to know why it isn't. Does this not sound like you were believing the reports, homeboy? Does it not sound that way, Mills? If you're watching this, I hope you are. That tweet sounds like you were believing the report. You. Does that not? You don't think so? Well, let me read your words again. How long until we get a video from Sean Grady explaining why we won't be getting any more franchise updates in 22? I said this when he put out the Fix Madden franchise video. You live by your words. It was his words that franchise was a priority. I'd like to know why it isn't. You know why you said that, homeboy? Is because you were drinking the same Kool-Aid, apparently. You believed it. You thought that was a real report. Now, all of a sudden, now I'm running with it. You can't make this up. Look, I even see more tweets later on now he's in the know. He's going at Mike Straw. Come on, man. Dog, come on, man.
It wouldn't shock me in the least bit if he spoke to Kralo or he spoke to like somebody in there messaged them, or I don't know if they still got a Discord or whatever, but it wouldn't surprise me if somebody got in touch with them and just said, hey guys, regarding that information, found out it's not true, so-and-so confirmed, blah, blah, or somebody from EA directly responded to them so that way they knew what was really going on, and now he's switch-footing it.
Come on,
and he does that. Or he could have knew to a degree all along and then just thrown those tweets out there just because.
Exactly.
And he's he's doing all that in the Discord, on, but then in the public, you know what I'm saying? Man, no, this BS. It's not true. And this is what Mills does. That's why I don't take nothing that cat says seriously. Look, at the end of the day, he wants to be able to be one of the guys that are doing one of those playbook videos for Madden when it comes out, for the next game comes out. Hey guys, I'm doing a stream and I'm gonna show you this feature. He wants to be one of those guys, possibly part of the creator group, whatever it's called. He wants to be part of that. You see what I'm saying? Or he wants to make sure he stays in those graces. Like I said, a guy like myself, Sim, we Azure, we do it. This is how we doing it. You know what I'm saying? Like, we ain't doing it a different way. This is how we doing it. Okay, yeah, Smitty said, okay, Sim said, okay, Azure, okay, all right, cool. Yeah, we rock with those cats. And this is how it's gonna go. That's how we do it. So it's like, if people want to mess with us, then they're gonna mess with us. If they not, they not. So that's why I don't have a problem. See, I don't have a problem talking about the mill stuff. It's not like we about to be in a group. And if he got a problem, he can reach out. At the end of the day, I literally saw the kissy kiss, pat on the butt and everything like that. You know what I'm saying? He got a little bit of brown on his nose and everything. Like, that's what he did. He did it.
You did it, bro.
He literally did it. If y'all could see the Slack posts and the Discord chats that we had, trust me, he did it clearly. Even in some of the literal discussions, verbal discussions we had. Oh man, sometimes he came running up. You know what I'm saying? These dudes urinate. He coming through with the napkin. Oh, let me catch that for you guys. Oh no, don't want you to spill. Like, it's like, bro, like, it ain't necessary, man. Let these cats be. If they disagree with somebody, let them disagree. You don't need to chime in every single time. Be like, oh,
every time, dog.
See, that's why.
Smitty is not exaggerating.
Like, no,
I'm here to tell y'all. Every time Smitty got into a discussion on them private groups, here he come. And I'm
Every
like,
time.
why? You know,
Every time.
a lot of times, I purposely wouldn't say nothing when Smitty was talking because Smitty's talking. I don't need to come to his rescue.
Yeah, no. He had to come and be like, hey, y'all get off my. I'm like, no, what the
Dog.
I ain't got like I'm literally making the same points that I done made on this show here, that I done made in streams, playing games, all that, videos and everything. And I'm making points. Well, I'm talking about with EA employees, cats that don't normally be on Twitter, but they're in there, and I'm just like, bro, like you gonna try and tell me Madden, like going back and forth about NFL 2K5, they like to joke about it like the game ain't have squat in it. I'm up here like, bro, Madden's lacking a ton in comparison, and da 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 da. And they like, oh, how could you possibly say that? Are you serious? I could bombard you with videos that aren't even mine and make all kinds of points. And it's like, you wonder why this game to a degree stays where it's at. This is why.
The real devs know what time it is.
Yeah, exactly. That's why we say
they know.
We don't blame Clint. We didn't blame Rex. We don't blame Scant. We don't blame Dave. We don't blame.
However,
and I don't even. Oh, go ahead.
Real quick, while Smitty's saying that, because we're gonna be all the way honest tonight. I don't feel the same way about all the devs there. Let me put that out there. It's some of them devs there, and I could say it if I wanted to, but I ain't gonna do it. I don't rock with y'all like that. Y'all always hear the people I name. It's some of y'all that's on that sucker stuff, just like some of these followers, these minions. Some of not the big names. It's just a couple of them in there. Nah, they on some sucker stuff too. Like they don't understand what's nah. So and they know who they are because the real ones know. I've told them straight up, you my man. Da 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 da. And some of them other ones, they know who they are. So let's put that out there too, just so y'all know. It's a lot of infighting going on in there.
Yeah. So and I mean, listen. End of the day, yes, is Sean Grady an executive? Yes, but at the same time, he can only move so much. Like I told y'all before, when I first went to the studio back in 2012, with me and Sim, when we first went down there, one of the first things he told me, yo, we're going to get the challenge system in there, man. We got to get the penalty system completely redone, man. It's going to take us some time, but we going to get it. And it's like, and it's sad to say that it's been this long of a period of time and it still ain't done yet. But that just lets you know the forces that he got to go up against. And remember at that point, Grady was a producer. He was like one of the main producers, but he was not part of a executive board or anything like that. So of course he's elevated since then. But that just goes to show that these guys see the feedback. They know what needs to be done. They just got to be able to do it. And that's why we can't stress that enough. It's like they got to be able to do it. But then the other problem is you got guys that'll sit up on the fence and try to play both sides. That's where you got guys like Mills, for example. He'll play both sides of the fence. Oh, I want the game to be blah, 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 blah. But at the same time, he's in the group and he's kissing, he's kissing the babies.
He's talking to the wrong people.
Yeah, he's kissing the babies.
Go to corporate.
And everything. Yeah, like you know what I mean? So it's like, bro, like you want to do all of that. You brown nose, you brown nosing ground level guys. You know what I'm saying? And that ain't gonna do anything. Like at the end of the day, that's why Azura always said since 2011, the point is to get to the table with the key decision makers to make things happen from there. That's why we appreciated Rex so much, because Rex had said, I think, he said it in an interview with us. I think he said he wanted to have an event where there's not even gameplay. It's just straight up, we're just having a discussion about, like, a conceptual discussion regarding what should be done with the game. It's like those are the kind of people you want heading up the project, but you need those kind of people at a top level that have that kind of process, that kind of thought process, and that operation style where they're like, hey man, yo, this ain't hitting right. Hey, yo, come on, we got to get this right. Come on, get the right people in here and y'all figure it out. Like, get the input from the people. Get some of those hardcore guys and see what they want to do. And let's figure out something actionable that we can do that people can get with from a hardcore tip. And it's something accessible from a casual standpoint, and get it done. 2K has that. You know what I'm saying? With all the depth they have, 2K has that. MLB The Show has that. Why don't we? NHL has it. FIFA, PES, like those games all have that kind of stuff. Why doesn't Madden have that kind of stuff? This is what we got to have. You know what I'm saying? So,
yeah, man. And I just wanted to comment on what my man, shout out to Joe Numbers. Hope I'm saying your name correctly. He was saying, at what point do you hold them accountable? And, basically, when do they move on? So I asked him, I said, well, you referring to the devs or, and this is what he wrote back. He says, yes, if there's a problem and various solutions are offered that fall on deaf ears, why not move on? Is it worth all the slander via social media? But see, this is the thing that I always tell people. It's a job. At the end of the day, it's a job.
Yep.
You understand what I'm saying? Like, then y'all want me to be honest? We're all human beings, right? You think them devs really care about if they get slandered on social media? They worry about their family, their well-being, their money. It's a job at the end of the day. And at the end of the day, as humans, just like if I was a developer, them people on social media don't matter. You feel me? You don't matter. It doesn't matter. It's just like when pro athletes be like, man, I don't be paying attention to the people on, because at the end of the day, it's a job to them. You know what I'm saying? Like it ain't as important. We are not that important in terms of the consumer, the gamer, that if we feel like they're doing something wrong, they must get a new job. Like, come on, man. Like now that's when we're taking it a little too far, because there's a million people that don't like what they do for a living, but they might be making good money and they do it. So you can't say that. You can't say that. And again, your next comment here, you says it is, but if a job isn't allowing you to grow and expand, then some of the comfortable being stagnant, and that's okay, but you can't want something to improve, slacking around, watching it get worse. But what are we talking about as far as growth? That doesn't affect their paycheck. You understand what I'm saying? And Joe, I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm just trying to give you perspective. We talking about a product getting better. None of that has anything to do with their pocket. These people going to be employed at EA. You know why? Because Madden sells millions of copies. So let's not blur the lines between development of a game to make the betterment of a product and just general life and reality. You understand what I'm saying?
And it grosses billions.
Yeah, and I'm never gonna attack. And I'm not saying you're doing this. I'm just replying to your comments. I am never going to fault a developer for working. The video game don't mean that much to me for me to be questioning somebody's well-being. I'm sorry. Now, if you don't believe that, or if you don't agree with that perspective, I don't know what to tell you. I'm sorry. I don't, we just won't ever see eye to eye because I'm just not that type of human. Shout outs to Black Scorpion, man. We appreciate the donation. Oh man, don't give me no man, take your money back, man. No, I'm just joking, man. No, appreciate that, man. Even with that, we sports fans, but I don't take it so. I mean, y'all should see some of the comments. Some of these Steelers fans, man, they want everybody fight. I mean, it's like, dog. Sometimes you gotta have some perspective. I know we crazy fans. We all want the Super Bowl and all that, but man, when y'all calling for people's, It's like, come on, man, y'all, you get a little crazy with that stuff. But yeah, thanks, Scorpion, man. We appreciate that. But yeah, Joe, like I said, I'm not going at you, man. I'm just saying. Yeah, go ahead, Smitty.
No, I just want to plot what he just said there. Well, the thing is, like what he just said, they want the product to improve, but at the same time, they're not the bosses of the product like that.
I think people miss that part, man.
It's part of game development. Like in game development, ideas get rejected all the time. That's why they have to, they just don't build it all the way out and then say, hey, boss, is this okay for me to put in Madden? I spent all kind of resource hours and manpower on it. Is it okay for me to put it in? It's like they have to like from an infancy stage, have to bring it up and say, hey, is this cool for me to do? Is this cool for us to do this? Is it okay for us to do that? If the answer is yes, then they're going to go ahead and do it. If the answer is no, then they got to scrap it. Like there are a good number of good ideas. See, to us, we hear of a good idea and we're like, oh my goodness. That may be one of many ideas that they've had regarding passing controls or trench play or running animations or wideout DB play or franchise mode elements. You know what I mean? Things like that. And while we'll go buck wild over it, it's like, oh, this is just day-to-day operation. That's why even when people go to the studio and like how guys like Mole and Searles and even Deuce Douglas go in there now and everything, it's like all of it, that's why it's such a different experience. Even though those guys I named, well, I don't know if Deuce has been there for a community day or event or whatever, but you have the other two guys, they've been there for events. And then they go to those events and they get a good experience, and they've been there so many times. It's like they know what to expect. They understand and have an understanding of how it is. But then it's a whole different thing once you're clocking in and now you're officially on the team. You know what I'm saying? Like once you're on the team and then you really get that full blown access, you're going to be more privy to things that there's going to be more wrinkles you're going to be privy to that you may not have known of before. And now it's like, oh, but everybody else in the public eye will go buck wild and crazy about. To us, that's like, oh, that's just Tuesday. You know what I'm saying? Like, that Tuesday morning, I'm in here of 500 different ideas, and by Tuesday evening, we may consider 3 of them. You know what I mean? Like it could be something like that. I'm just being hypothetical, but exaggerating it. But it's like that. Like, there's levels that we're just not going to see from where we're at right now. So that's all.
Yeah, man. The shout outs to and y'all notice I always say shout outs when I read y'all's comments, because I don't take any of this stuff personal. We just having conversation. It's funny because we've had stuff with other people in the past and they seem to get bothered. Like, so any of the stuff that I'm disagreeing with, it has nothing to do with y'all. It's always respectful. As long as we keep it respectful, we can continue to disagree. Just wanted to read what Radical Sim put up here. He says, yeah, but the developers sell the game and make promises. That's a fair assessment. However, this is still where I fall with it. It's a job, man.
Yeah.
I mean,
you gotta promote it.
I feel you, but it's a job.
Yeah.
And again, and real quick, Smitty, and I thought
go ahead. No, say it.
I respect somebody I would respect anybody that say, I couldn't do that job. That's respectful. There's a lot of jobs that I feel the same way. Like, I ain't doing that. No disrespect to car salesmen, because I know a few, but I couldn't be a car salesman knowing I'm lying. You know what I'm saying? Like a used, I couldn't do it. I can't sell nobody a limit. And I know cats that do it. You know what I'm saying? But I don't not like them. That's just, you can stomach that. That's on you. So I feel any of you guys that would say, well, I couldn't be in that job. I feel you. But these people are. And I don't make them weak or anything like that. Some of these dudes make some good money there. They've been there a minute. And it's not as important to them, like all that other stuff. They want to do what they want to, but listen, that's where they work. That's all I'm saying. I take all that other stuff off the table, man. Like You got to separate reality and video games. Y'all feel what I'm saying? So that's all I'm saying, man. And like I said, I love these type of conversations because we're not arguing anything like that. We're just giving our perspectives. And I like when we had these combos because you can kind of see who we are. And I say we because Smitty as well, and y'all, you can kind of see who we are, like personality wise. Like a lot of the things I say is just that's my personality, and it might not be for everybody, or some people might agree, or some people might disagree. But that's all I'm saying, man. It's just a job to some of these dudes, man, and you can't fault them for that, because we were talking about video games, like, right. It ain't really. Now, if these dudes was working at your local doctor's office,
yeah,
and they blatantly lying about something, stuff. Now, then, yeah, y'all gonna have to get up out of here. But video games, man, it ain't that serious in the grand scheme of things. But yeah, that's just how I feel on that.
Yeah,
I'm waiting to see if Brett is gonna come in.
Brett had commented earlier.
He did. Okay, yeah, Brett, I sent you the invite. So if you got it there in your Twitter, come on in.
Shout out to C-Mad.
Jeez, what's going on here? Y'all know what? Because I be forgetting to do this all the time, man. I'm gonna start doing this as it happens on the show. Smitty, I still got your Cash App, right? Y'all about to see me how real I am in real time. Let me see if I still got Smitty on my Cash App.
I don't think I've been on. No.
Oh, PayPal.
Yes.
All right. Well, dang. Let me make sure. Well, nope. All I got to do is transfer it. Wait, do you have Cash App?
It's better to use the PayPal. My Cash App be funky. Yeah,
I don't know if I got enough. Oh, it'll pull from my account though if I don't have enough. So hold on. Because guys, I forget to do this. First of all, thank you for the donation. C-Mad, we're gonna read your comment in 2 seconds. But I have to do this, man, because if we're being honest, it's rare that we get any real donations on here and YouTube swallows it. But me and Smitty do this show. I know it's my channel, but we do it together. So I always want to share that with Smitty. And I forget to do it all the time. And Smitty never complains or says anything about it. That's how I know how real he is. So what I'm doing right now, I'm sending Smitty half of this money. And this is how real I am about it. I technically don't get half because YouTube is going to eat some of this. But that don't matter to me. I'm sending Smitty the exact half of whatever we get on this show. So what is that, 70? So I'm about to send Smitty what he deserves right now.
Appreciate that.
Yeah, man, because I always forget to do it. And, like I said, this is a show that we both do. So I don't want to, you know what I mean? Hold on, guys. I'm sending it to Smitty.
Yeah. We're going to get to your comments, C-Mad.
Yeah, I'm about to read it. There we go. I think you got it. So that's how I'm going to start handling this thing. When we get donations on the show, I'm either going to send them right away or I'm going to write them down and I'm going to shoot them to Smitty. There you go. Smitty got it. Cool. All right. So he says, C-Mad says, there's a large majority of those in the Madden community who put the butter on their bread ahead of their true feelings concerning Madden. You both keep it real. Always have. God bless both of you and your families. Happy holidays. Man, we truly appreciate that. And God bless you, man, dropping that 50 bomb on us, man. Words can't even explain how much we appreciate it. Because, again, we just some guys, man, and we've grown to have somewhat of a following. And these type of things show you that I guess what we're doing is okay. So thank you so much for that, man. Definitely appreciate that. Brett, where you at, man?
Yeah, I saw him in the beginning, like when we first got started. He came in the chat. So
we want to get Brett up in here, man, because Brett is a former EA Sports developer. So I want him, I really want him to talk from the side of what part of it is on the devs and things like that. Y'all don't need to hear it from us. I want you guys to hear it from somebody who's actually been in that situation. Oh, there you go. Brett, did you get, I sent you the invite. Let me send it again. I sent it I sent it to your email. I'm gonna send it again real quick. Because I don't think. Oh, actually, hold on. I might be able to just send you this link directly to Twitter. So hold on, give me a second. Here we go. I'll do that. We won't even worry about the email. So I just sent it to your. Hopefully, this link will bring you in and we'll get you on. So again, to set the stage for Brett Lee, former EA Sports developer. I want him to talk about whatever he wants to talk about, but specifically what I would like him to kind of explain to you all, what type of stuff do you hold developers accountable for, as well as things you can't hold them accountable for in terms of the production of a game. Or there he is. Okay, I'm gonna get him in a second. Well, actually, hold on. Let me go ahead and bring him in. Ain't no need to wait, right? What's going on, Brett?
What's going on, man?
Hey, what up, man?
Nothing.
What's going on with you guys? Sorry for it being a little bit dark. My boys is playing right now, so I'm doing multitasking right now.
Man, that's why I don't understand how you able to even come on here with us.
Man, hey, you know what? It's because of what you talked about early. I'm passionate about this, and I really wanna be fair in what I got to say on all parties, because I didn't like how old boy was coming at you like that. I really take offense to that, and I just want to speak on defending you about that, because you do a lot you do more than what an average person do because of this game, and for somebody we don't need to be battling against each other like this. We need to be together, and for somebody to come at you foul like that, I gotta say something, man. I can't deal with that.
And look, he always says that. He has a tweet right now in the last 2 days that says we always going at each other, talking about the community. And look what he did.
That's what I'm saying.
This dude crazy.
That's what I'm saying. And that's why I want to give it to you from my perspective and my history of what I've been through. But I also want to be fair. It's the main thing. So what's going on, Smitty? I didn't want to forget about you.
Oh no, you good, man. It's what.
All right.
Good.
Okay. So of course we saw that what they put out. Also, Eric Way put out the same thing too. In fact, he put it out first. And I don't know how you guys do reviews on anything that you do, but when I worked for EA, I also used to do interviews for Electronic Gaming Monthly, Game Pro, IGN, et cetera, et cetera. The one thing that I always learned is you don't go by the first feed you see. You always do your research, and you always do you put things together to come up with your own opinion. That's what I don't do that just with these games. I do that with everything, and just in life. I just don't go by somebody's word. I got to do the research. Never did anything come out of EA's mouth about this, first of all. So they just took the story and ran with it, basically. And they didn't do the due diligent research. Now, when I admit, when I first saw it, I was irritated, and I was like, wait a minute, I can't believe they're gonna do that. And I was getting ready to start putting something on Twitter. I said, wait a minute, time out, slow your roll. Let's make it official before we do this, because you don't want to jump the gun by doing that. Now, I want to give you a little bit of history about when I worked there, and that's why I'm saying I want to be fair on both aspects. This is in 2000. This was the transition from PlayStation 1 to PlayStation 2 Madden. Mm-hmm. And I have to admit, I was worried about it because Dreamcast Madden came out, and I was like, how are we going to beat that? Because at that time, 2K looked pretty nice. And I didn't know that we were going to be able to beat that. But then I saw what we had, and I was like, oh, yeah, we're going to beat that without a doubt. And of course, I was put at ease. I also had a chance to go down to Tiburon to work there, because at the time, I was working in the headquarters in the Bay Area. I'm originally from California. I moved to Atlanta, then I moved to the Bay Area to work there, but Tiburon's in Florida, and they wanted me to come out there, but I just left them out there, and I just really didn't want to go out there. It was me and another coworker. Well, actually, my other coworker actually did go out there, and he finished the game, but he came back. And I'm like, why did you come back? Now this is granted, this is in 2000, and this is what he told me. He said the direction the game is going in is not going to be to our hardcore's liking. And I'm like, what do you mean? He said because they are catering to the casual fan. They're eliminating the aspect of catering to our hardcore fans, basically looking for the money. And they were on the verge of doing it back then. But 2K came out with their games for the next 4 or 5 years, and that competition was there, and they had to maintain that competition. So that kind of put things on the back burner. But once they monopolized the NFL and took over the NFL license, and remember, they only didn't take the NFL license, they took the ESPN license. People forget about that. ESPN had their own license as well, and they took that as well. And once they took control of that, that's when everything went haywire, and that's when they start catering to the casual fan. That's when we were able to play online, we were able to download the MUT packages and everything. All that stuff came into play, and without no competition and all that money they're making, they just didn't go away from it. So I say that to say this: we've been talking about disappointments in the last 5 to 10 years in the game, and how they're not listening to the hardcore fans. And when you hear or see that story like what came out yesterday, yes, we're quick to jump the gun because we're frustrated. Of course we are. But we also got to take in mind about this, and that is, it's not just EA, but all gaming companies right now are having a struggle with this pandemic. I'm going to continue to say this. And the reason why I'm saying that is because they're saying, well, they can test the game at home. Yeah, you can test the game at home, but it's still not the same, because the one thing that is not the same that people don't realize is that you have your own servers to download the builds, and you can interact with people that you work there. But when you're at home, you don't just get the updated version of the game to test as easy as you can. It takes a lot of time. You're more distracted because you're not at work. Nobody's supervising. It's just a lot of other elements take heed. And again, EA is not the only ones that's suffering. All these gaming companies are suffering. 2K, Activision, all of them are suffering. So to sit there and just, we just want to sit there and bash EA, and they brought some of this to their own, because we are frustrated with it, but we got to have a little bit of understanding. Now, on the flip coin of that is, I can see them having some of the issues that they're talking about. I can see some of the issues, because when I was there, the competition, we had our own inner competition between the Madden crew and NCAA crew. NCAA had their own set of guys, their own dev team, and their goal was always to try to outshine the Madden team. And it was a big competition thing there. They don't have that there no more, and they don't have as many guys that they need to have to compete to complete that game. And it is a concern, because if this is true, if they had to take the Madden franchise guys into the college guys to help the college game that's not coming out until 2023, I might add, then I fear for next year's Madden as well, and the year after that, as well as I fear for the college.
Yeah.
I don't have enough confidence. I'm gonna be honest with you. I don't have enough confidence about the college game coming out. I really don't.
Yeah, no.
I just don't, because I don't. It's not just Madden that's having an issue. Look at what's going on with Battlefield. Now, really and truthfully, let's be honest. Battlefield shouldn't have been released until next year, but they released it because they wanted to compete with Call of Duty. It's all about the dollar and cents. I get that. But look what you came out with. You came out with a shell of a game. And that game should have been delayed until, like you wanted to delay. I'd rather get a delayed game and have it done right, and get a game that prepay early and has all kind of issues. It's hard for me to look past the issues you have, because half the time when you have a game that has issues, you just mask it to fix it. You don't truly fix it. So, I'm hoping that things get better. I really do. And every time I doubt them, they do prove me wrong. But this one right here, this issue right here that's going on right now, it worries me a lot. It really does.
Yeah, and see, the thing I wanted to say was, and I meant to say it earlier, regarding sports gamers online. Now they they have a decent number of followers on Twitter. They
Mm-hmm.
have over 200K subs. So I
Yeah.
mean, they could make a report like that and it could hurt, but at the same time, I mean, for EA to report that to IGN, SGO does not have IGN juice.
Yep. No.
You know what I'm saying? So it's
Yep.
like for EA to go that far to clarify this, those dudes weren't off with
No.
what they said. It makes it, and the other thing too is, like we said earlier, they said reported a source. They
Mm-hmm.
didn't say confirmed this person by that person. This employee said, and insert name here said, people are disgruntled at EA Tiburon. This employee said this is going to be, canceled or delayed. So for them to just say it was source material
Mm-hmm.
and these guys to react the way they did, come on. You know what I'm saying? So it's like
Yep.
if they I think SGO had found like some data about NCAA the NCAA football information coming out back then, like in terms of when it was going to possibly be out by patents that were filed or something like that, or trademarks or whatever.
Yeah.
You didn't see EA jump up and be like, "Hey, hold on, we got to let you guys know." Like, no, they ain't say nothing.
Yep.
But I mean that's a major thing. So it's like for you to jump on this though, off of what was speculatory information, basically. Well, no, I ain't got to air quote it, but it was speculatory. Like there was no confirmed here. That says a whole lot about the situation. So that's why I'm just saying, like, yeah, it wasn't confirmed per se, but at the same time, that them responding and jumping to say, hey, let's get to one of if not the number one gaming outlet to get this story out there to dispel any rumor. Like, no, it's still being done. Come on. SGO made a good point. You know what I'm saying? So I mean,
And I dig that dude too. He gives good, honest reports too. I do definitely trust his opinion.
Yeah. So that's it. I just want to say this real quick. I don't think about it because, like I said, like I said earlier at the beginning of the show, I dabbled in a little bit of Madden. I haven't played the game in over a month. I dabbled in a little bit of it, and I was playing Ultimate Team. And I had packs and all that. I saw the whole bow nose thing and all that. I'm like, okay, let me get this free bow. You know what I mean? Let me go ahead and get it real quick, see how it is using them. And the thing is, it's just like with dang near every player in that game. Nobody feels different. There's no difference with Bo. It's just the skin that he has. That's the only real difference. Maybe some certain equipment pieces. But other than that, Bo's none of these dudes are different in the game, man. And it's just like, this is the stuff we're talking about. But then what does EA do? They got their little gimmick. The bigger name YouTubers that play Madden, they're sending them shoes with a copy of Madden 22.
Yeah, I saw that.
With the Bo Jackson joints in there and everything. And it's like, that's cute and everything. That's, I don't know. I see, that's the thing they've been doing over the past few years. Like, it'll get to the fall or winter, and then they'll switch the cover of the game and everything in a title update of some sort. So now it's like Bo Jackson is the cover of the game when you load it up, or at least the icon, when you go to play it. But it's just like the game doesn't replicate football right, and it doesn't replicate the individuality right. So putting in I don't know, he got an ability, I guess, based off of him too. They added in the game. All that doesn't even mount up to a hill of beans to me because of how the game plays. And it's just like back to that same circular problem with this game and its development. And that's why I like what we were saying earlier, like Clint and all these cats, man, it's a job at the end of the day they're doing. You know what I mean? It's not it's not yeah, they're passionate about football and everything, but they also realize what they're allowed and not allowed to do too. If they're not able to do certain things, and that's just the way it's going to be at the end of the day. So, and they call it a day. They're not going to get beat up over it and be like, oh man, I ain't going to be able to sleep at night because I wasn't able to add this feature. You know what I mean? Like it ain't going, it ain't going down like that for them. So, you know.
And the crazy thing is, because Brett, we try to give our perspective, man, based on just the length of time that we've had the opportunity to go down there and be around the devs and learn. I was telling somebody earlier today, it didn't take me maybe 2 times going there when I started really seeing how it works. So if you could explain to folks, because I think sometimes when they hear me and Smitty say it, those who rock with us is cool, but those that might not, they might feel, and it's fair, they might say, well, that's what these guys think. They don't really know. And that's a fair assessment. But can you explain to folks, man, having working at EA and being a game developer and things of that nature, kind of give them an overview of what you can blame devs for in a given cycle and what you should more so be blaming the heads for, like the suits. Because a lot of people, we say this all the time that, hey, man, devs can only do what they can do. And me personally, I look at devs for stuff like in-game things that you did implement that doesn't work properly, or maybe the way you implemented it. Even still understanding that even fixes sometimes comes from up above, like how much time you can spend on that. So if you could just explain to folks, man, like what is a fair thing that you can blame developers on, and particularly say with Madden or just in general, and what are more so the things that you need to look up above and point the finger at?
Okay, so as far as the suits, you want to blame the suits on, it's the direction that they're taking the game in. The direction, the lack of not doing what the fans are asking for as far as franchise mode, as far as maintaining this whole MUT situation on creating all the money stuff and all that. And as far as devs are concerned, what you can blame on them is because it's kind of hard to just say it now because the fact that with how they're developing the game, not in the studio per se, but repeated bugs or more or less nerfing the game. And what I mean by nerfing the game, like if we were playing, remember I told you about this. Remember when they used to have the hot slant outs? You only could slant. You remember you could slant in, you could slant out, right?
Oh yeah.
And they changed that into the Z route. And the reason why they changed that to Z route because they couldn't figure out how to have a defense to stop it, so they nerfed it and changed to a Z route. See, that's why I'm coming at the developers.
And those post corners. Remember we could do the post corner route?
Yeah, the post corner route doesn't even work. Or I'll give you another even better example. And this is one of my biggest pet peeves I have with Madden right now. I hate the fact that you have plays in this game and it doesn't work at all. Post corners, double reverses, certain screens, like tight end screens. Don't put a game in there just for eye candy. If you put a play in there, make that play work. And if a play is a little too powerful, find a way to stop it. Don't nerf it. Because now we got to find another play that we're gonna go to that you guys are gonna be overpowered and you guys are gonna nerf that. That's lazy development right there. I can't describe how one of the bad reputations I had at EA was I didn't hold no punches back. When I saw something that wasn't good, I said it, and I didn't say it in a nice manner. Like, look, man, this is some BS, you guys. This don't work. Like, why are you guys doing that? And it got to a point where it's like, look, we're not changing it, and that's that. So when it gets to that particular point, then yeah, I'm coming at the devs about that, because you guys, now you're letting your ego get the best of you. I'm trying to make a good product. You guys just trying to prove a point, and that's not good for the consumer. That's killing us. So and you guys been saying it for the longest. What the suits say goes. We can sit there and complain until our face turn blue. What the suit says goes. Yeah. Until they get a good understanding about what we really want, they're not going to change it, especially when that money's coming in there. And when I was thinking about coming on the show today, the one thing I thought about, I said, well, what would it take for them to finally, hear us out? It would have to take somebody famous. That's the only thing I could think of. Somebody famous, like, let's say like Snoop just got on there and went on Twitter and we're on a rant and said, man, you guys need to get this game together. Maybe they might take heed, They might take heed, and they might say, hey, you know what? We might have to take heed on that, But for us, as a casual consumer, they're not gonna hear us. And then the other option, of course, is we just start boycotting it, but we don't. And the reason why, it's the only football game out there. We gonna want to play. We sit here and look what we're doing right now. We're talking about this game. And when I get off of here and my boys finish playing, I got a franchise game I got to play. I'm going to play, So and that's the thing, they know what they're getting themselves into. They really do, and they taking full advantage of it, and we're just stuck. It's unfortunate, but we're stuck. So so I hope I answered it for a lot of the people, to understand that, hey. This is basically how it works, and maybe you can get it. I could get another, because I got some other friends that have been wanting to come on the show as well that I used to work with. And if you hear from some other ex-devs that can reassure what I'm saying is true, this is how it is, man. This is what you guys been saying is no lie. This is what it is. And I mean, this is a multi-billion-dollar moneymaker. They're not gonna let nobody stop that. And ask yourself, would you?
Right. That's the thing. And I like we're seeing here with my man Joe, and I understand what Joe is saying. We understand what you're saying, Joe. With what you're getting at, the point. The logical standpoint, like he's saying, like a dev could get fired for installing football principles in a simulation game. Like, I know that's crazy, right? But that's one of the key reasons why a guy like that's why Rex left.
Exactly.
You see what I'm saying?
Exactly. Exactly.
That's one of the key reasons why, like, as
exactly.
you heard him say, I got a whole plan. Andrew Wilson stopped him when he heard the bell and whistle and said, oh, no. That bell and whistle you said, that's it right there. But I got a whole plan. No. That's what you're going to do, that right there. That's the CEO. What you going to do about it? You relocated your family. you see what I'm saying? You just did all of that. So you just can't say, oh, I'm about to go somewhere else. You can't just do it just like that.
And to reiterate that point, Smitty, is that when Rex was there, you got, like when I was saying back in 2000, they said they were going to go start catering to the casual fan, but that competition came. Rex was one of the main culprits that maintained that competition for EA, because you remember he also worked with college and Madden. He maintained that aspect of what the fans wanted. But once they left, once they took control, got monopolized the NFL and ESPN, and they started going in a direction, that's when the conflict with Rex and everyone else happened. And he's like, hey, I'm gonna stick with my principles. I'm out of here. I'm not gonna sit there. I'm just not gonna be part of this buffoonery, because that's what it is at this particular point.
Yeah.
You know, it's just sad, man. Like, you know, I think what, you know, maybe they know something we do, but they would make the same money if they gave us the game that we want.
Man, come
They
on.
make way more money.
They'll make
Easy.
more. It's kind of like how if you guys play baseball and you trying to kill the ball and your coach always told, I never forget this. Coach said, "Listen, just make contact with the ball.
Make contact,
The home run's gonna come. It's the same thing. Just make a good game.
Yeah,
the bread gonna come.
Bread is coming, bro.
The bread's gonna come.
Easy.
You're gonna get your loot cakes.
Easy.
You know, you're gonna get paid. But if you're gonna keep on dabbling like this, you're gonna lose your fan base.
Yep. And see, understand it. And now let me ask you this. Let me just kind of make this point off of what Numbers is saying. He's saying he wished everybody walked out when Rex did. Now, this is the thing. Knowing that game development in general has a high turnover rate with employees and everything, what do you think would have happened, hypothetically speaking, from your experience? What do you think would have happened if you had something like that? Let's say Rex was like, I'm walking out, and Clint and a few other guys decide we gonna walk out too then, since he left. You think EA gonna fret and be like, oh no, we got to get those guys back? Or are they just gonna be like, okay, next man up?
Yep.
That's it. See? So
yep.
Next man up. See, so I want to add, because this is a guy that's, you know, you were knee deep in the industry, so it's like you know what's up. So it's like, yeah, see, so they're gonna be like, as much as we'll be like, oh, they'll never have another Rex. They'll be like, okay, but the next person will be serviceable, or they'll let it. Go ahead.
Look at the guys that have left just recently. You know, the guy that did the face of the franchise, he's out of there. We have
Mike Young.
Yeah, he just left.
Oh, Mike Young gone?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
I saw that.
Yeah.
Wow.
He left.
I didn't know he had left. Wow.
Just last week. Came out just last week.
When he like creative director and everything like that? And he gone?
Yes.
That was wow. See?
And that proves your point right there.
Go right there. I didn't know.
Yeah.
Oh no.
Now and that's where, okay, I understand what they're saying. Like, if they had competition, you know, because I used to laugh at this, like, you know, EA just don't want the competition. No, you gotta understand. At the end of the day, it is about the bottom line and about that bread. So if you got a chance to end your competition and make that same money, you're gonna do it.
Yeah.
It's like the game of Monopoly. You're here to win, and to win, you got to take over everything.
Yeah, take over.
You know, I can't fault them for doing that. But 2K did it, but they still made a good game.
That's the difference right there. They're still investing. You know what I mean? Like we said before 2K22 came out, they invested in a full dev team to work on the previous generation games separate from the next gen game, so they don't have to pull and have dudes doing dual duty. Like, and we're like, bro, EA, why don't y'all do the same thing with Madden? And it's like, but they don't have to. But then at the same time, it's not like 2K competing in the basketball market space with anybody right now either. So it's like, you know, why they're putting for, it's more of an executive decision. We're just not going to do it. Or the NBA could be different than how the NFL is, as far as what, you know, I mean, expectations, bottom lines, whatever. There could be some gray areas where it's a different thing with 2K. You know what I'm saying? So, wow, it's stupid.
Carlito.
Yeah. That man was there for like, how long was he there for? Like, what, a month and a half or two, something like that? Yeah.
I mean, it's, you know, I don't know what you guys heard of the grapevine about what went down, but it wasn't a good reputation thing that went down with him. I'll just leave it at that.
Carlito, boy.
Yeah. And you know what? I'm glad you mentioned him. Because the one thing that irritated me about him, and I don't want to sit there and I'm completely bad mouthing him. He came from the background of Warcraft.
Yeah.
Or was it from Blizzard?
Blizzard game.
And the way that the character is developed, he brought that in the way players are developing Madden, and I don't like it. I just
Really?
don't. Nah, I
You
like
didn't
the
think
old.
that would have been good?
At first I did, but now I kind of still like. Well, it's like a combination of I like the old style, and then I also like the way MLB the Show does it. And the way MLB the Show does it is this: you're not going to max out every attribute. Like if you're a shortstop that can defend, and you're a good defender, but your hitting might not be good, or your running might be good, or if you're a good hitting shortstop, but your defense might. You got to try to choose which path you're going to choose. And I do like that aspect where you still in Madden, you can still kind of like max out everything. And I don't like that aspect.
Yeah.
Because when you do it that way, that creates a style of player that the individual player is. Everybody, like when I play in my Madden league, we don't allow everybody to change their abilities, because when you do, everybody's gonna pick the same type of ability. Like for example, the cornerback, you're gonna make them acrobatic and you're gonna make them one step. And why not? Why wouldn't you do that? Right? You're basically creating Dion, so everybody be Dion. And that's now you're just making a bland game. And when you have it the way that MLB the Show is, then that will allow you to. That's how you're gonna base your style of play. I'm a defensive style and playing game now, so I gotta really rely on defense to stop the game, or I'm more of an offense, or et cetera, et cetera. You can try to balance it as close as you can, but you're still going to have a more of a creative aspect to it. But when the way they have it now, everybody's just going to try to be the same way. That's why I'm an adamant fan of having created playbooks, because if you didn't have a creative playbook, then everybody's going to have the best playbook. Like let's say Jacksonville is the best playbook. Everybody's going to have Jacksonville playbook. Then the play is going to be bland. But if you have a creative playbook, I run a total different style than the next guy, and that keeps that open that way. I just wish that with the creative playbook, they would fix a lot of the issues that they consistently still have, because there's so many bugs with that. It's just ridiculous. And I think that's what we're frustrated with. It's so many of the. I mean, I'm seeing bugs from the last 5 Maddens. It's like, come on.
That's what I'm saying, man. It's like, and they keep building. They try to build on top of that, and and that explains why. Because it's funny when people watch me play the game sometimes, especially if I do like an offline. Man, you make the game look better than it is, and I'm like, it's because I'm playing it straight up. And sometimes it's like I got a video that I think I'm gonna cut soon, and I played in a league game the other night. I actually won the game, but I went back and I captured the replays. Actually, I might even just show it here while we're on the show, because I all I got to do is boot up the PlayStation and just share the screen. I captured all of the interceptions by myself and my opponent, and captured a touchdown that I scored on with a play action. And you see these moments where the game plays out the way it should, and then you had these other moments where user input influences a lot, as far as you click on and you still can get to a spot really quick, or you can influence a 2-man animation. And it's like, but that's the reason why I feel like that they build these new things on top of old code. So sometimes it works, but then other times that override is going to kick. It's the same reason why when you in tackles right now, I always say that the most dynamic part of Madden, if there is one right now, is in tackling. You see that sometimes, but then every now and then you will still see that animation that you can't interrupt. Every now and then that one-on-one, it will play out
all the time,
and the guy stand up and like you see him a lot less, but it's still there. So it lets you know that the new tackling that they've implemented and making it more physical is still not playing out to its fullest capability, because the old scripted code is still on underneath it.
And I think that's the other thing that makes it frustrating. As bad as we talk about it, we know it's right there. It's right there where if they just do certain things, the game will be right where it needs to be. Because at times I'm looking at it, I'm like, dang, man, do look good. But
Right there.
you start playing, it's like, oh my god, like what is going on?
Like if they could get rid of the two-man and if they could get rid of the two-man animations and let those animations be individual, like you know what I'm saying? Like dude tries to go for the interception, guy tries to reel in a catch, breaking a tackle, pushing off the back of your old lineman, stuff like that. Like if you can just make that stuff look
Let
more
it play
organic and just be individual with physics, being able to be, you know, realist, like I would say relatively augmenting, like FIFA. Sim did posted a video where you saw dudes show that recognition, like dude putting the arm over, he's feeling them, goes up for the header, hits this way, hits that way, like all of that stuff. It's already done, but it's not done in Madden. And once again, these are things that we've made points. I remember making points in the studio and having Clinton Rex to say, be like, yeah, they have a much bigger budget and they have way more resources than we do at their disposal to be able to expand and build their gameplay out, you know, to do what they do. We don't have as much to work with as they do. And it's like, okay, and see, that's once again to my man Joe. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's exactly it. Because once you make that point, it's not like Clint's gonna say, all right, I'm gonna be on this executive call with all of you guys, and oh, you mean this big investor, that big investor, yeah, you guys are gonna have to hold off because we need to do this game the way we want to. You're not gonna be able to just shift the dynamic, especially when these guys are announcing numbers and saying, oh, year over year, we're up X amount percent, and we're projected to get this. And then you say, well, I want to change the flow of everything. They're gonna be like, what? You know what I'm saying? Like, they're gonna be like, hey, look, as you're saying that, your box is being packed with your things. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, he doesn't work with us anymore. I'm sorry he even said that to you guys. Those investors will be like, what do you mean you're gonna change stuff? That's it. So it's like you can't, we only know it can go but so high from what they can press. So when you're looking at making wholesale change and things like that, like what we all have said, there's the work they can do to get this game in a much better stratosphere is not mind-boggling change. It's just more updating authenticity and freeing up your game more. That will help you. And it's like, well, I don't know if we want to do that. I'm like, why the heck not? Like, you're not going to lose doing that. You're going to gain making players feel the way they need to. And it's like, you can't honestly be concerned about approval rates. Look at how the public reacts to your game and how they rate it anyways. Don't worry about that. Just make the game the way you make the game the way it needs to be. Your game's never going to be a highly rated like that because you got pay to win in there. That's going to knock your game down automatically. But outside of that, people can honestly be like, hey, yo, gameplay wise, this game hits. I hate the pay to win part in MUT, but the other part that I'll be able to say is, hey, these players feel like their counterparts. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you actually build the game out, like everything we're talking about, the subtleties, you playing in a league and having your custom playbooks. You have your custom playbooks, that kind of stuff right there. Now, how does your player personnel work with those playbooks versus you see what I'm saying? And now you're talking about
that for years,
a whole different thing. Now you're getting an NFL kind of experience because the NFL literal real world game is the ebb and flow is meandering all over the place. That's just the way it is. You only got 17 games to make it happen. So it's going to be like that. Chemistry, confidence, abilities, dudes getting hurt in different areas of the body, having an organic injury system, stuff like that, like limbs and stuff. Counting
Exactly, man. Exactly.
You
And
can
that's
do
the-
that. You know what I'm
That's the
saying?
thing. Exactly. See, that's what frustrates me. Let me give you an example. I'm playing my franchise. I'm playing with my Cowboys, right? So they got this new, the new practice mode where you practice with pads and half pads. So I'm going through the regular season, and I had my first Thursday night game, which was against the Raiders. And it's a short week, so my guys get tired. Cool. That's what's supposed to happen.
Right.
My following week, which is the Saints, is going on right now, but it's a week later. But they treated it as if it was a short week, and my guys got tired quickly. It's like, come on, man. Not to mention, there's no notification to let you know that you got a Thursday game, so you better make sure you don't practice too hard. Those little things, like you said, like if you got a coach that's running a 3-4 format, but you still try to say, well, now, okay, I know my coach running 3-4 format, but I'm playing 4-3. Okay, well, if you do that, that's a lot of your plays is not going to run properly.
Exactly.
It needs to have that identification with that.
Yeah.
It's like the game is Madden to me is like a walking zombie. It has no life.
Exactly.
It just doesn't. When you look at other games, like even with hockey, the NHL. Have you guys played the new NHL yet?
Yeah.
And it's like, and people are like, wait, it's the same company. Yes, you're right. It is the same company, but that's in Canada. And those dudes up there were always on top notch. They never came short. They didn't know basketball too well, but hockey they knew.
Yeah.
But, and then not to mention that's not the top priority game. So EA is allowing them to run their show. Madden's the big dog, so everybody want to have their hands involved with it. Like, well, let's try this, let's try that. But the problem is you got too many people there that don't know football. You lost a lot of good in the right position. You lost a lot of good core people that don't know football.
This game, man, I tell you.
Mm-hmm.
Now I'm gonna go back.
I mean, I'm tired of hearing your voice like that, Sim.
I'm gonna go back and show everybody. Now, for the Steelers fans, this is just a teaser. Y'all see who the quarterback is. We in season 2. I was able to draft Malik Willis.
Okay,
but you see the score. Now, some people say, "Well, why are you complaining?" It's because I want real football. So let me show you guys a couple of these plays. What I'm talking about is where the game goes haywire. First thing I'm going to show you guys, and everybody in the chat can see it, right? Y'all say yes, if y'all can.
I can see it.
Yeah.
Why is this an interception? Let me show you. Now, I wanted to show that play, but it was no replay. But watch this. And I'm going to stop it. He makes the right read, in my opinion. Now, he could have threw it short, right? But watch this. Where y'all think that ball going to end up?
Oh, it's the old guy, because he throws it literally to right where he is.
No. Not him.
He get it.
No, not him. Watch this. A little further.
No, I'm saying.
Oh, that's who you're talking about. That guy. Yeah.
That's my point. Yeah.
Look at the ball, guys. Clearly, the receiver. I'm thinking the ball is going to go. Or he could have threw it to his other guy over there. He didn't see him. It's in real time. You can't always see the whole field.
Right.
Right. But look, watch my guy.
Yeah, he went up. And you.
How is he able to do this? Come on, man.
Come on, man. That happens way.
And look at the receiver. The receiver stops as if he already knows it's about to get picked.
Yeah.
Oh, well. See how both the receiver and my guy's feet start to move at the same time? That's what you call a scripted animation.
Yep.
Scripted outcome.
And it's scripted because of who's throwing that rock. It's because it's that rookie throwing that rock. And you're playing against the Steelers.
Let's look at another one. Let's see. Right. Let's find another one. Let me speed it up real quick. Now, some of these might have been legit. Hold on, let me keep going. I didn't chop this video up yet, guys. So, all right, let's look at this one. Now, this one, you could make a small argument. I'm trying to hit this guy in the end zone, but what I really want to do, I want to take advantage of his big body, right? He's my tight end. So my plan is I'm going to switch on to him. Look what happens. They don't let me do nothing. You see when I clicked on.
Yep.
Right there. Look.
I know. I put the phone down.
What is that?
See?
What is that? Look. You guys, let me go back. You can see when that turned blue. I click on. Please explain to me why I can't do anything. I can't do anything.
They ain't want you to have it, Sim.
I'm controlling this guy. I'm controlling him. This is ridiculous. Now, again, guys, I'm not saying I'm supposed to make the catch. No, this could have been a good one-on-one battle. But the fact that I switch on and I am pressing, not only am I pressing the catch button, I'm also trying to move him to the ball. Mm-hmm. And you see what they make me do. They make me turn upfield and go in the back of the end zone. Why? Why do I lose control of this player when I click on? Let's look at another example. Now, granted, Chase Claypool is wide open. He's wide open right there. But I didn't see him. I wasn't looking for that. I'm going for the touchdown. This was like before the half.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Yeah, I see what you mean.
Let's look at another one.
Yeah, he is wide open.
He was wide open. He was clearly open there. All right, let's see what this one is. It's probably something crazy too. And I'll probably still make this video just to put it out there. Oh no, this was decent. Now I don't have an issue with this, not because I got the pick, but it don't look so crazy. And you can still see that they put my guy in place a little bit, but at least this one is more believable. Because I'm controlling Devin Bush.
He didn't lead the receiver properly.
Yep. See, this is semi-clean. So what I've always said to Clint and the guys, man, I understand that you still have some of these, sequences, but if you could get the timing close like this to where it's not so obvious, like you can't be 5 yards away. This one is not that bad of a situation. And again, it's not because I got the interception. I can almost live with this. I would like to see the receiver. I don't know. See, this is me getting too realistic. I would like them to kind of not do the same animation here, but you can understand why that was an interception. And then this one here, last one. The game should play like this all the time. Mm-hmm. There's no way number 6 should be able to catch up to me, and he doesn't. So that's the one area they have cleaned up in Madden, like the rack catches and all of that. You don't get the 2-man. But the game just doesn't play like this at all times where you can trust your eyes or throw into traffic, if you will. Yeah. But, yeah, man, I don't know.
Yeah?
I don't know.
Okay, it's okay.
But to me, that's the biggest issue with Madden, man. It's just the game just doesn't play freely.
No.
And I do. This is what I do put on the devs when it comes to that. The way, the devs they get instructions on what they have to do and all of that. But I still look at the devs on how they implement the things that they plan to implement. Mm-hmm. Now, I know when you talk about 2-man anims and all of that, that's a little more difficult because that's going to, in order for them to get rid of that, I mean, you really got to dig deep. And, I'm not an engineer, nothing like that, but I'm assuming that's a lot of code and stuff you got to redo or strip out. So, but me and Smitty have also been there and we see the Band-Aids that they attempt to use when they try to fix these things. Mm-hmm. And that's my issue. Is like y'all got to find better ways with implementing what is already in the game. You got to find a better way to do it, even though it could be, again, I don't know. It could be underneath stuff maybe it forces them to do it that way. I don't know. But I think it is fair if people want to say that's the devs. So I think it's fair for you to judge what they implement and how they implement it. That's probably fair criticism. Yeah, but
yeah.
I was hoping my boys got a touchdown, but it don't look like they're gonna get it. But yeah, man. I just, the big question right now is where do we go from here?
that's the
Wait
question.
for that 2K.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah,
if it's about something, though, see, that's the whole thing. It's like we got to see if it's about something. If
yeah.
it is,
Yeah. And
then we can have a discussion. Possibly.
Yep. If like the gameplay shows, if they show a different style of gameplay and good animations, maybe that will ruffle their feathers a little bit.
Right.
I hope so.
I mean, that could be why they're being so much more ambitious, quote unquote, towards 23. Madden 23. Like that could literally be why. So I don't know. Because I mean, they got insight on what's going on and things like that. But I mean, EA, like I said, if the future ultimately for EA football gaming is we're just going to take from within and we're just going to put these guys on these projects and everything, that's being like, I mean, I get, like I said on Twitter, EA got to chill with being so frugal. Like they can't be that dang on frugal with the funds. Like they have to actually start investing and spending, because while they may be feeling themselves right now and just thinking it's okay and they don't need to invest further or they don't need to innovate like that, 2K could mess around and come out with a game and it can make a nice impression to where the NFL will be like, hey, yo, open it up now. Like they don't have to wait for the whole deal to go through, regardless of that expansion. Like I said, if the NFL reneged on their deal, what, EA is going to all of a sudden topple the NFL? Like, come on.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? He ain't about to topple them. So it's like, okay, what y'all going to do? Well, we're going to sue you guys for, okay. You still want our life? Like, EA is going to lose more than they would gain at the end of the day. It's like, no, like if they want to switch up, they could do that. Just like Lucasfilms did to EA as well. They had the exclusivity, but because they fumbled on 2 or 3 projects, they like, yo, we going to let somebody else make a game too. And it's like, EA were supposed to be the ones with all the exclusive rights. And it's like, you fumble the ball. But now, you have somebody else who's able to make a football game in 2K. They have the player rights. They have the NFL license. It's just depending upon what kind of title they put out, if it's going to be profitable. And see, that's the key thing. We may not like what they do at the end of the day, but if what they do is a profitable move, and and clearly it's going to be in the console space, because that's what they said, unless they change unless something changed, it's going to be in the console space. So it's like, if whatever they do is something that's viable and it really does capture people's attention like that, then, hey, like I said, maybe in a year, maybe in a few years time, because it's not going to be an instantaneous overnight thing. But if the NFL, if they have something in the tuck they may be working on in terms of doing an authentic game, because they're real confident in their project, and it gets that, they win over the right people, they may switch up and be like, yeah, man, let them in. Let these dudes make a sim game too. And then they come back a year or two later with a sim game.
Yep.
Now we're talking about open, not open market, but we're talking about open that competition.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? So,
like, look what happened with MLB The Show. They were only exclusive to Sony, but MLB, Major League Baseball, was like, look, nah, you need to open up the floodgates and make it for Xbox and PC and et cetera, et cetera. And what did they do? They did.
Yep.
So you're right. You can see, I can see that happening where they're like, hey, you know what? Let's see where it's at. You know, and I think that's what frustrates a lot of people too. Remember, EA got the exclusive simulation license, and they're not making a simulated game. It's like, wait a minute, you know, like just stop with that. Where's our simulated game at?
They're going by the technical definition, dude. I guarantee they're doing the technical definition. See, just like how EA is technically, by definition, making a simulation game, I think that 2K legally is going to make a game that, while we could deem it like if it's like this, I'm just saying, if they make a game that borderlines authenticity, they will legally make a game that, while to us it would be simulation, in the business world, EA won't be able to be like, oh, you guys are going to get sued for it's like, no, we technically didn't make a simulation game.
Yep.
We made a game that was this way, that way, and the third, but it's not technically a sim either. So, you know,
is Super Mega Baseball 9 players on each side? Like, I'm not sure. Is it a full baseball roster?
I'm not sure.
I don't know.
Because what I'm getting at is, I wonder what 2K could make under that umbrella.
Yeah,
that could possibly be 11 on 11.
That's what I'm thinking.
I don't know if they could do that.
Something like that. They can do something like that technically. I mean, baseball, like Super Mega Baseball, I think has all the positions on the field.
Yeah.
Like, so I mean, once again, what would technically be considered
arcade? Yeah.
In that, what would be in genre definition? Like, Super Mega Baseball is not technically a simulation game like that. It may be considered that by some, but that's the thing. The baseball heads revere that game as like, yo, hey, this looks cartoony and all that stuff.
It's
but
fun, yeah.
This is a legit game to play. Like, if you don't necessarily want to get with the show, you could definitely get on this. So that's why I'm kind of thinking between RBI baseball and doing a Super Mega Baseball kind of game. I think that may be, if 2K is going to be an authentic kind of experience to it, it would have to be somewhere in there.
I don't see it being. I see Joe just mentioned it. That's what I was getting at, Joe. Don't expect anything resembling APF.
No.
What people have to remember is, why was APF able to be what it was? It was a licensed game. It was licensed with old time NFL players. So the caveat here is what, and again, this is just my opinion, but I think that's always going to hold me more. I don't want to say pessimistic, because I'm not that, but what doesn't have my optimism high is the fact that the NFL is behind it, and the NFLPA. And why would the NFL allow a game to resemble a simulation? But that don't make sense to me. If the NFL wasn't a part of it, then I would say, oh, we about to get. But like, it just don't make sense. If the NFL is going to allow them to get that close to the line, they might as well let them make a simulation game.
Yeah.
And that's the only thing that scares me, is the fact that the NFL is involved and the NFLPA. That's why I think it's going to be more like NFL playground, NFL field or something.
Yeah.
Or, you know what I'm saying?
Not, but yeah, it wouldn't surprise me. And see, once again, it just has to be something that people can honestly get down
with
and enjoy it. Like, and they can make some money off of it, whatever. We know microtransactions are going to be part of it. If it's something that's viable and it's like, oh, wait a minute, this made some money and this actually is something. Let's see if we gave these dudes a full op. What would happen? They already got the reputation with NBA 2K, and see, that's where EA jacked up at. If you did what 2K did, it probably wouldn't be discussable. But the fact that they can look at their NBA game and be like, hey, yo, look what these dudes like. They crushing it with sales and they get all that microtransaction revenue too. It's like, yo, like I could only imagine what their numbers look like for that game versus Madden. You know what I'm saying?
And
like,
I see all of the high hopes. Like I know, see what C-Mad saying there. You have been saying that, but again, all of that is fine and dandy if their name won't on it. That's my only point. Because even if you're right, let's say they come out with the game, then what was the point of it? Like what would be the NFL's reasoning for coining this as a arcade game? It made it clear. Remember that. They made it clear to us.
Yep.
Not only to just them, then EA. Not only just them, then 2K. Everybody is making it very clear. Remember. Lesson. Like, you know what I mean? That's the only thing that bothers me. Like they are making it too much of a known thing that it's a non-simulation. That's all I'm saying. I hope all of you guys are right. I'm just saying it just don't. You know that something smells funny about that.
Don't hold your breath. Just
hold
keep
your breath,
it.
Man.
Just curb your
be surprised.
Strongly, strongly curb your expectations.
Yeah,
and just let whatever flows. Because I know people gonna be like, people gonna sit up here and agree with us, and then they're gonna see what comes up. Be like, man, this some bull, and they didn't do. It's like, nah, don't even set yourself up for it. Just let it flow. How it goes, let it go. If it works, cool. If it doesn't, don't be surprised if it's not. And once again, it may sell a ton of copies that may lead to opening that door to the game that we want to really see. So, but we just
and the thing, man, like what Radical is saying, everything that y'all are saying sounds good in theory, but you have to ask the question: why would the NFL make the distinction? That's the only question I got in this situation.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Why?
Why
do they have
2K
to do that?
sold? Something that 2K sold them an idea, and we don't know what it is. But
they rock with 2K, guys. Let's not forget that. It used to be 2K football.
Yeah.
So it ain't like the NFL don't know who they are.
Mm-hmm.
That's all I'm saying. And again, I don't want to say this in a disrespectful way, so don't take it this way. But you gotta use that third eye sometimes to just be like, critical thinking. I tell this to my employees all the time as a manager. I'm like, yo, you got to use your critical thinking to figure that out sometimes. It's just, it don't smell right for the NFL to, because essentially what y'all are saying is the NFL is in cahoots with kind of helping 2K finagle. Why would they have to do that? You see what I'm saying?
They only in cahoots for themselves. Don't think
make
that.
sense, man. It don't make sense.
Hey, Sim, it was this guy named Radical Sim. I want to respond. He was saying product is sloppy, that falls on the devs. Well, you got to realize they want that. The devs take the blame for almost everything, but don't necessarily think it's on the devs. They got a time limit that they got to produce this game, and when that time comes, it's what they call KS, known shippable. If the game is sloppy and they know it, they'll ship it knowingly that it's sloppy. So don't think that it's always on the devs. It's because there's been plenty of times where we have came together and said, hey, this is not going to work. And they're like, look, I don't care if it's not going to work. We're going to ship it anyway. We'll probably try to fix it. We'll have a patch and fix it later.
Yep.
But
I just typed that.
yeah. And that's just so don't, I'm not trying to put the devs to get the devs off the hook. I'm not saying that, but don't just put the heat solely on them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Man, it's already 10:05, guys. We're gonna get ready to wrap up, man. And
all right, man. I'm gonna go ahead and watch the second half of my boys, man. I appreciate you guys.
I'm gonna check them out too, man. It's a close. What is it? Still what? Is it 16-7 or was it
13-7?
13-7. All right, I'm gonna check it out.
They get the rock this half, so hopefully they can do something with it.
But yeah, guys, and real quick, Joe, I will say the last thing you said there. Yeah, that's where I'm agreeing with you too. It doesn't mean that even if it's arcade, I think there's still a way that you can have authentic player movement, animation, like that stuff shouldn't affect anything. It's just that the presentation of the whole game is probably just not gonna. If I'm being honest, it's probably not gonna be enough to keep all of our attention.
That was that NBA situation. That was the worst. See, it's something catastrophic, and that's why I say you want something to happen to Matt. You want EA to make drastic change or something like that regarding Madden. Something on a catastrophic public level has to happen in terms of a development decision or release that people visually see and are able to experience in order for EA to make a change. That's why they did it with Star Wars Battlefront, because the first game, it was something you were able to literally get free in your game without an extensive grind. And these guys literally made it a redonkulous grind in order you to get just a little bit of far. Plus, they had the pay to win method in there, which was not in the first game at all. So they got nailed for that, and then they completely backtracked their whole process. Yep. So it's like the same thing has to happen with Madden. Something has to happen with Ultimate Team or core gameplay where it's on that egregious of a level that they'll be like, "Oh no, we ain't getting with this." And then they'll have to forcibly make a drastic change. That's literally it. That's why NBA Elite 11 got pulled. Plus 2K11, which we all saw how iconic that game was coming out. You couldn't have that NBA Elite and say, "Hey guys, look what we got here." That was not going to work. That's why Mike Wang left, because of that. He wasn't trying to ride with that off of Live 10. He wasn't trying to rock with that. He like, nah, 2K, hey, can I go back? My bad for leaving. You know what I'm saying? Like, he had to go. So,
but you're right. It's gonna take something like that, because just a real small story I can mention to you guys, man. Way back in the day when I first started working, I was working in a call center, right? And I'll never forget, my manager used to always, we used to say, "Man, there's all these calls and people complaining." He said, "Let me tell you something. You're only hearing from like 5% of the customer base." And at this time, I'm like 19. I'm like, "What do you mean?" He said, "Look at our satisfaction rates and all this." I know what y'all gonna say. "Oh, well, yeah." No, that's not what I'm just saying in general. He was like, "Dog, the only people who calling and complaining like that, it's like 5%." And that's honestly, this is where we are with Madden. We are a strong unit, all of us that feel this way, but we like this in the grand scheme of that money that they make. So a boycott might help a little bit, but that ain't gonna get it done from us. What got it done kinda was the hashtag, because that ended up trending #1, and boom, there was a lot of eyes on that. But most of us ain't buying much. So us not buying the game, think about how many games they give away. So
why do you think they give them away? Look at that revenue.
Exactly, man. And not to discourage us, I'm just saying
that's reality.
That route would be tough, because honestly, we're a smaller percentage of that food chain. So I don't know, but hopefully, man, something happens. Whether it's 2K, the NFL wising up, letting other people get in, or Madden eventually being a great product. I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah.
Well, guys, I have got to go. We're gonna let Brett get to watching his Cowboys.
All right, man. Appreciate it.
Yeah, we appreciate you coming on, man. And you guys, we'll catch everybody, man. Hopefully next week. We'll see what comes up. If a show doesn't happen, we'll let you guys know. But outside of that, I hope everybody has a great weekend. Stay well. God bless. Stay safe. And we'll catch you guys next week, man. Y'all be good.
Yeah.
Peace.